Oh my goodness. It feels good to be an Aston Villa fan when we go and play like that, doesn't it? 5 wins in a row now. Just a few weeks ago, we were one of the worst teams on the planet. Unai out. All the players were past it. The transfer window was all terrible and all that. But my goodness, my word, would you believe it? Today, we've just completed really the turnaround that we've been showing this season. Sensational stuff. So basically, what would you say? Spurs 1, Aston Villa 2. Right. Well, what an away performance that was. It was a brilliant away performance, exactly what it needed to be. Bearing in mind as well that if you're given the fact that this season we've pretty much been missing Yuri Tielemans for pretty much the entire time. I see comments coming in. I'll get to those in a sec. We've been missing Yuri Tielemans pretty much the entire time, who last season was our most important player and arguably still is our most important player. But the fact of the matter is that for Villa now, since the start of the season where things weren't going particularly well, for us to turn it around as quickly as we have and go on that 5-game winning run is just sensational. And to do it without Yuri Tielemans as well, I think is real testament to these players, their winning mentality, to Unai Emery, to everything. Because let's face it, at the start of the season, the players looked like they were feeling sorry for themselves. They looked like they'd probably been on a night out before the game. They'd been at Albert Schloss in Birmingham, getting on it and one or two of them ended up in the cells and then going from the cells straight to Villa Park and then losing. Villa were looking a little bit punch drunk from the summer. But the way we've turned that around, you have to say European football's really helped the regularity of games, getting 1 or 2 wins against teams we expected to beat, getting a few wins in a row now. We build that momentum. And when Villa build that momentum, they're very hard to stop. And for some reason, we're also really difficult to stop after international breaks. I don't really know why that is, but for some reason we are. And as well, Thomas Frank doesn't seem to have a good record against Unai Emery. Professor Unai, not many managers do. I think before this game, weirdly, let me know what you were thinking, but I kind of felt quite positive. I just sort of felt that the way we play against Thomas Frank teams generally, we tend to sort of suit their style quite well. If we just sit back and hit them on the break and play around them, we tend to sort of have quite a lot of joy that way. And they can't really seem to outmuscle us in the way that they maybe do with some other teams. Now, it felt like as well that before the game, going into it, when Villa get on that roll, it were hard to stop. And it just felt like, do you know what? I think if Villa turn up today and just maybe sit deep, try and hit them on the break, go toe-to-toe defensively at least, then we should get something out of it. Well, Spurs, what tends to happen when you go into their stadium is in the first 20, 25 minutes, no matter what manager it is, it's always really fast. The fans are very loud and they get really behind them. And we have found out in the past, and we found out again today, that they can get an early goal. And they did it again today through Bentancur, who I think did it against us as well, like 2 years ago. So that first goal, basically, it was probably the one moment of the game where Villa made a big mistake. And that was, Onana, as we were trying to play it out from the back, Onana underhits a pass into the right back, who today was Luca Dean. But then it goes out for a corner. From that corner, it works its way out to, I think it's Mohamed Kudus. Kudus has all the time in the world. I think maybe it's one of Cash or Guessant should get to him quicker. I think it's maybe Guessant. Should get to Kudus. He has all the time in the world, gets to the back post, header back, and a goal. Now, so you could say that was the only moment in the game where Villa looked, you thought, that's not great. And then shortly after that, Kudus has a goal that was offside. And you start to wonder, all right, well, are they just going to blitz away from us here? But Villa very, very quickly, I think, got a grip on the game. And I think it was very, very level, very, very level. And both sides seemed to be in the first half making the exact same mistakes that the other one was making. It felt that both teams, when they tried to play out, were really struggling to do it. And then when they were getting into the final third, it was like neither one of them were quite getting it right, passing-wise or whatever. Eventually, Villa get their own goal back. having not really had a shot in that first half. But Morgan Rogers, he almost loses the ball, bounces back to him, and what a hit that was. I think I've seen him score goals like that against Brentford last year, and he scored one exactly like that against Celtic at home in the Champions League, where he kind of hits it's almost like a toe poke. Toe poked punt, and it's sort of the weight of the ball seems to travel quite weirdly. The movement on it catches the keeper out, and what do you know? In it goes for a goal. Fantastic finish. And it just felt like Villa really were, I thought, the slightly better team. I think a few Spurs fans might argue with that, but I think Villa did look the slightly better team in the first half, particularly after the first 10 minutes at least. I think we got a grip on Mohamed Kudus very, very well. Luca Dean did really well standing up to him. I think Maatsen did well against him as well when he came on, and Onana coming over to support Luca Dean when he needed to with Kudus, because let's face it, Kudus is the number one attacking player this season, I think, on take-ons and assists and whatever else. So yeah, very, very good stuff there dealing with him. But I think in that first half, all that was lacking was just that final bit in the final third. And I also think it was one of the games where we visibly looked like we missed Yuri Tielemans, because it just felt like it was waiting for somebody from Spurs or Villa to just take control in the centre. And I think that Onana and Kamara, while they both played well, I think Kamara was fantastic, actually. It felt like neither one of them were able to sort of take the game, not by the scruff of the neck physically, but by the sort of, when they get the ball, they're just 1 second ahead of the player coming in on them. Or they can just pull out that pass from deep that gets a player running in behind. And in fairness to Gesson, he did really good defensive work. And to Marlon as well, I think he did a lot of running. It wasn't really his game to hold it up. And it's very difficult to outpace Van de Ven, fastest player in world football, seemingly. But I think having Tielemans there maybe for a pass like that would have made a difference, or just, interchanging those passes deeper as well would have helped us. And it felt like Villa were just waiting for that player. And what do you know? When you looked at the bench before the game, you looked at it and you thought, Villa's bench looks quite strong here. It hasn't looked particularly strong all season. But today it was like, do you know what? I think we've got players there that can make a big, big difference. And Buendia's done really well recently, coming off the bench. Scored that goal against Fulham. Got an assist, I think. And then today, as soon as he came on the pitch, he was the player we had been lacking. He was the player who would get the ball and make the right pass quickly. Because let's face it, when Rodgers would get the ball at times, it was slow. He would take his time. He'd maybe not make the pass that he should have done, released at the right moment. And then the other, while he played, I think, generally quite well, I felt it was just waiting for somebody to just be a bit more sure with their passing, a bit quicker and a bit more accurate. And that's what Buendia was. Buendia was that kind of Tielemans role that we'd been lacking, although obviously in a completely different way. So Buendia, I think, fantastic. I think he was man of the match. I think he was. And I think second half, first 10, 15 minutes, Spurs came at us a bit. You could argue, was it Matthias Tell had a big chance, the ball fell to him. But if you think about it, when you think of Spurs' chances, there wasn't like anything they created clear cut. It's like teams don't really seem to do that against Aston Villa particularly well at all. We were doing the high line like we did 2 years ago. So we're catching them offside all the time. You saw that right at the end as well, in the 96th minute, with Pape Sarr just catching him offside. It was fantastic stuff, the offside. The high line with Powell and Constant really was vintage 2 years ago when we got top four. But I think that, Spurs-wise, it wasn't like they really created much other than, a cross to the back post, which led to the first goal, and then a few long throws of Danso that looked like they caused some problems. You could say, I think it was Matthias Tell, he kicked it straight against Ezri Konsa, but that came from just, there's no in world football, you can be the best defenders in the world, but you can't always stop just weird things happening like that. And that was a big chance for Spurs, but that pretty much off the top of my head is all I can think of, other than Brennan Johnson having a half-ish, decentish chance in the area towards the end, which, wasn't a brilliant chance either. So, yes, I think Buendia made a big difference, and I think Ollie Watkins made a big difference, because I think that Marlon, while he did a lot of running, and he had, he did well to take a chance to just hit the top corner of the netting. Watkins just came on, and when he got the ball, he dragged the team up the pitch. He was really good at, one-on-one, winning the ball with back to goal, winning the ball with back to goal. tackling as well, just putting himself about is how I'd say it, and his runs and just being that outlet. I think he looked like somebody we were missing in the first half, and then when you thought first half, what are we missing? Second half, other than Tielemans, second half you had Buendia to fill that Tielemans role, and you had, as I said, in a different position, and Ollie Watkins to be that player who can just run around at the top. And that second goal, I'll tell you what, if William Shakespeare had seen that goal, Matty Cash would have a play written about him by tonight. Luca Dean would have a sonnet, and Emi Buendia, the Globe Theatre would have been renamed the Buendia. Right? Nobody's throwing vegetables at that performance. Nobody. No one's throwing cabbages. I mean, Steve Bruce maybe got cabbages thrown at him. No one's throwing cabbages at Villa today. This ain't Cabbage FC. I mean, honestly, when Cash hit that ball, it was like you thought, like, come on, mate, you're asking a lot of Dean there. But it turned out to be an absolutely fantastic ball forward. And then Luca Dean's touch was sensational. And I thought Luca Dean was brilliant all day, to be honest. A hardy little bastard, isn't he? Hardy little French bastard who can just stand up, if that man had been on the bloody Maginot line in World War I, World War II, ain't nothing getting past him. He's brilliant. He's a one-man Maginot line. He's brilliant. Good peep show, Mark Corrigan reference there. But yeah, I thought the touch from Luca Dean was fantastic. And then the pass into, just simple pass into Emi Buendia. And I think Spurs were very slow to react to Buendia. It was almost a little bit, like they were just kind of a bit half-paced and no one really pressing him, going at him. Buendia, though, did really well to come inside and a fantastic place to finish. Brilliant stuff. It was a super finish from outside the area. Put a bet on right now that wins the goal of the year for FIFA. I can't even remember what they call that award now. We win the Ashen Award for Emi Martinez. We'll win Team of the Year when we win Europa League and Premier League this year. And then, of course, goal of the season, there it is. Because, I mean, it's just a ridiculous goal. Ridiculous goal. Fantastic. And then from there, Villa saw the game out so well. Just like we tend to do. We do see out games generally quite well. I think since January at the start of this year, we've really done it. So fantastic win. Buendia for me, man of the match. Ollie Watkins was brilliant coming on. I think Barkley and Maatsen, when they came on and had to do their roles, I think Maatsen had a really difficult time. You told, right, you're coming on, Dean's done really well against Mohamed Kudus. You've got to come on and now deal with him. I think Maatsen did very well, and he was quite threatening going forward as well. I think Cash as well deserves big credit for how he played. All of it. I just think everyone today, from back to front, Konsa, Powell, again with Powell, when you see him get the ball deep, how many times would it be that he would turn in on his left, see a player, in a bit of space, the number 10 or the left midfielder or a deep line midfielder, and just whip a ball into them, perfect and accurate, and a Villa are away. Since Powell came into the team against Fulham, it is not a coincidence that we have looked a far more threatening team from back to front. And he looks like a player who's playing pissed off, because he looks like a man who saw last season and thought, do you know what? It wasn't my best year. Yes, he had a bad injury. Yes, he was probably a lot better than I think a lot of people gave him credit for, but he was absolutely sensational again with his ball distribution and his defending. Everyone, I thought Kamara was great. I think Onana looked a little bit like he was just getting back to full fitness and speed. But again, a good performance from him. And then Marlon, Gesson particularly defensively. Everybody. I just can't rave enough about what a good defensive what a good professional away performance that was. And Aston Villa absolutely, I think, deserved to win that. Brilliant. I mean, Tottenham away. What a victory. Can you remember from about the year 2008 to 2021, I want to say, Villa constantly lost to Spurs. I don't know why, but for some reason, they became a team that we just lost to. And since Sir Dean Smith went there during COVID and got the win away at there, Ollie Watkins' goal, if you remember, that stadium, we have done pretty well. That's the 4th time I can think now we've won there. 3rd time, I think, under Unai Emery. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant, and, if Villa are to go and get Europe this season, Spurs are going to be one of our rivals. And to get the 3 points over them at their place is fantastic. It's really, really good, and could be really crucial at the end of this season. And I think it also shows a couple of things where it shows to me. A, Villa are a brilliant football team. Aston Villa, get used to it. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It doesn't matter if you think, if you think Unai Emery should have been sacked a few weeks ago after a couple of poor performances. Aston Villa are a fantastic football team, and Unai Emery is a brilliant and intelligent manager. And we can do something special this season. We really, really can. And so, Spurs are going to be one of our rivals. And as well, Spurs have Champions League. So Spurs are going to... Thomas Frank is not used to this experience, right? This is a new experience for him to deal with Champions League and the Premier League. And what I saw today from Spurs, I think, yes, they're going to be competing for the European places, or at least what I've seen of them this season. But what I saw today is that they're a team that I do believe there's a lot of teams that can go at them. And I think Villa are a team that are built to play them. And I think Villa look like a team who, once again, can compete for Europe and should, aim to go after the Chelseas of the world. We should aim for it because I think we can do it. Brilliant stuff. Look, we had 4 big wins: Bologna, Fulham, Burnley, and Feyenoord. And Feyenoord away particularly was a tremendous win. Then you looked at Spurs, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Spurs, City, and Liverpool, right? You looked at those 3 games, you thought, now Villa had to get something out of those 3, right? They had to, because we couldn't go off the back of those 4 wins after the back of a poor start and then go into the next 3 games and just lose all 3 of them. But the thing is, the way Villa in previous years under Unai Emery, we don't lose. We're not a team like the Villa of old where we just sort of turn up, give a little good try and then lose 3-1. We're just not a team that does that, And I didn't think we'd lose all 3. I thought we'd get something from some of them. To start off with a big win at Spurs is fantastic. It's fantastic. That is brilliant. And I cannot rave enough about what a good away performance that was. And I cannot rave enough about Emi Buendia. I am going to go down to the nearest Argentinian restaurant and I'm going to go and buy everyone a steak and dedicate it to Emi Buendia, and also maybe buy them some red wine and dedicate it to the world's number 1, Emi Martinez. Brilliant. Thank you, Argentina. Thank you. Right. Well, let's get to some of the comments. Let me know what you think. Black Country Villa. Good afternoon, all UTV. Great result. Fantastic result. Really fantastic. Richard Skinner. Magnificent performance it was. 2 sensational goals. Absolutely. 2 absolutely brilliant goals. Please please subscribe if you're watching. If you love the mighty Villa, if you love what Emi Buendia did today with that goal, if you love his performance, please subscribe. Shamelessly me asking in that way, isn't it? But apparently if you don't subscribe, you're a Birmingham City fan. They are in the rules. I didn't write them, but apparently it's in YouTube's rules. If you just read deep, and no one wants to read that deep, but it's in there. So you have to subscribe now. Ruman R. Emi loves a goal away to Spurs. He does. He scored a great goal there, didn't he? In that 2-0 win on New Year's Day in 2024, I want to say it was. I was in Scotland for that. It was great up on Inverary. Beautiful place. James Wood, afternoon. Frankie, Villa 2, Stoke 1, UTF. Yeah, look. The entirety of Newcastle were slaughtering me last year when I dared to say that they played a bit like a high-end Stoke. Yeah, I get why that sort of, what's the word, maybe triggered a lot of them. I get that. But it is quite weird to see just how much of that sort of stokiness actually is still in football and seems to have made a resurgence. Lots of fouls and the long ball thing. Firstly, I don't understand why they're allowed to spend that long rubbing the ball with the towel. It was about 30 seconds every time. But it's a bit random. like it's like, why is this suddenly a new thing that has come back? That everybody knew about this when Dave Challoner was doing it for Tranmere Rovers and got them to a Coca-Cola Cup final in '99 where they lost to Leicester. Yeah, I mean it's weird. Yeah, brilliant for Villa to win that. Simon Cohen, love it. We needed that. Absolutely, Mr. Cohen. We really did. Really needed to win that. Because it just felt like, having had the 4 wins we had, none of them were against like the real big dogs, were they? And I think it was important for Villa to get a win like that to really show market territory, basically. Really show that we are, we're here and we mean business again this season. And yeah, huge. Rachel Insel Lewis, good to see you again, Rachel. Afternoon, all great result from the lads. It really was. Mr. Tech Bits, love to see you, mate. Love your name as well. Hey, mate, pretty chuffed. I'm buzzing. I am absolutely buzzing. Honestly, I mean, it's lucky I've not had a drink today, because the things I'd be saying on this podcast, I do remember 2 years ago when Spurs beat us 4-0 at home and John McGinn got sent off. The amount of Spurs fans who came on here, and I was very diplomatic. I thought I said Spurs played really well. I think Spurs are a good side. They're going to compete for Europe. The amount of abuse I got off Spurs fans that day was, when Villa lose on here, I very rarely hear from opposition fans in a kind of insulting and mocking way. And that was the only time I can really remember a lot of fans doing that. It was weird. So I hope they're all watching now. I don't think they are, but I hope they are. I hope they're feeling pretty great about themselves now. WJ, well done, Villa. Yeah, good on it. How good was that result? Fantastic. Top result. Duncan Kilburn, good to see you again, mate. Afternoon, all best performance of the season. Yeah. I think Feyenoord away in this performance today are the two for me that are the most like brilliant. And all of those games, I cannot express enough how much I think Pau Torres has made a difference. Because I think man of the match today, Emi Buendia. But I think if you were to look on the whole, who's the man who's made the big difference? I think it's Pau Torres. And if I were to say who's our player of the season so far, Pau Torres. Yeah, brilliant. New contract for Buendia. I mean, he's working his way to it. A few weeks ago, I said Villa need to stop starting Emi Buendia, and I even said, when I looked at the squad towards the end of the transfer window, saying Emi Buendia, he's had 4 years to show what he's about, and yeah, he had that injury where he was out for a year, and I think it was a shame because it came at a point where it felt like he might have a bit of a Leon Bailey kick on, but 4 years it felt like we've had enough time now. It's just time for him to move on and find someone new. Well, what a mea culpa I have to have, because not like I've ever thought he's rubbish. I've never thought that. Always thought he's had qualities, but I think just to see the way he's played in recent weeks and to really, it was against, I think maybe it was Everton, where he came on and he just his willingness to put himself about, willingness to run and try at a time when Villa's players were looking very low on confidence and no one really looked like they were matching that. You really have to give it to him. But it's one thing to do that, but another to just, then be a real game changer. And I think he's been that in a couple of games, Fulham and today, and I think in Europe as well. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Really pleased. And I think him as a bench option, I think might be what the best thing for him. But we'll see. I mean, he's working his way into a start again now, isn't he? Brilliant. Just top stuff. I think he'll probably start against Go Ahead Eagles. I think we might see Harvey Elliott, Sancho, Lamar Bogard. What does it say? Squad depth. Not too bad to have players of that quality coming in. We ain't even seen much of Harvey Elliott yet, and he's a brilliant football player. And I'm sure we're going to see lots and lots of him as the season goes on. Unpopular opinion, Sam Man says, but I thought we won that game at a stroll. Buendia looks twice to play off the bench. Yeah, exactly what I just said, mate. Yeah, I think he's probably a bench player, really good bench option as it proves right now. At a stroll, a little bit. I mean, it felt like it was like two boxers just kind of looking at each other in a very it was like two Floyd Mayweather Juniors kind of just looking at each other for a lot of that game, just waiting for the moment to wear you down and then strike. But it just felt to me like Villa had a little bit more. I think Spurs fans might disagree. I think it just did. And it did. The Tottenham crowd were really, really quiet, which I think is a testament to how Villa played and maybe also how Spurs played. But I think how we dealt with them, and I think it was it just felt like we I wouldn't say stroll, but it wasn't like a frenetic, fast-paced game, was it? It felt like Villa were able to just work their way into it, and particularly in that last 15 minutes when Barkley comes on as well and did very well. It felt like Villa were on for a third. It felt like a Villa third was far more likely than a Spurs second, to be honest. Limited them to half chances second half to object. We did, yeah. And in that first 15 minutes when they were really coming at us and getting into the final third, other than that one chance that fell from a long throw to, I think it was Mattis Tell that hit Ezri Konsa. There wasn't really any other chances I looked at and had my heart in my mouth. I mean, there was a big save from Emi Martinez from a header, but it was offside. Just like Kudus' chance was offside. And that reminds me that 2 years ago, what often used to happen is that people, pundits would say, Villa give up a lot of chances, don't they? Villa, I watch them in that high line. It's very risky, innit? I don't know why they do that high line. It's really, really risky, innit? Right? I don't know, mate, And then if they actually bloody watch Villa, which they don't, they'd have noticed that we always catch people offside all the time because we do the high line brilliantly. And then all these supposed chances that are happening aren't actual chances because they're offside. So it's an illusionary effect. And I think that header today that was saved by Martinez off maybe Bentancur, which was offside, was a great example of that. Again, that high line with Konsa and Powell coming back, I love it. It's looking good. It's looking good. Duncan Kilburn, Villa played the high press well today, works well with Frank's tactics. It really did. I think Tottenham pressed us well, and we particularly in that first 20 minutes, and we really struggled to play out. But I think we started to get a grip on playing out from as the first half progressed, and I think then as the second half progressed as well. But Spurs, I never felt they did get a grip on it at all playing out. I think they really struggled with it. I think Villa, even when Spurs took the lead, in that first 10 minutes, when Villa did press them high up, it never looked like they were comfortable. Quite surprising. Today was a real team win, says Mr. Tech Bits. I felt the defense, absolutely, mate. That's a really perfect way of putting it. I felt the defense was solid, bar the slip up for their goal, springing offside trap, etc. Cash was super solid. Cash was very good, yeah. And Ara and Kamara, a good combination also. Yeah, there's a lot of games where those as a combo really works. I think today was one of them. I still think we missed Tielemans. I still would have loved to see Tielemans in that deeper line midfield role in the first half because it just visibly looked like Villa. One of the teams was looking for somebody to take the control of the game on the ball, and I think Tielemans would have been that. It wasn't until Buendia came on that was when Villa, I think, took control on the ball. I don't think either side had that Buendia player who made the right pass quickly and in difficult positions, which sucked the opposition in, made a quick pass away, and then the team's away. Every pass Buendia made today was on the money, perfectly weighted, perfect pass, good vision, brilliant stuff. Brilliant. James Wood, for the money Spuds have spent, not impressed. Yeah, not massively impressed. It looked like a mid-table performance, even though they're a team I'm convinced are going to be pushing for Europe, and that they are a very good team. I think Frank's a really good manager, but I wasn't blown away by Spurs today at all, and I haven't been all season, to be honest. Rachel Insall-Lewis, lovely team goal for the second. We've had some great ones during Emery's time. We really have, Rachel. Some of the team goals for Villa, they're the type of goals I never dreamt I would see, right? Throughout my entire life, I have been watching Aston Villa since the year 1992. I cannot tell you enough that I have never seen Villa score the type of goals we score under Professor Unai Emery. Since Emery came in, Professor Emery came in and set up the University. The things these players, who a lot of people would have said had a very limited ceiling, have proven that they can be and proven they can show. What does it say about good coaching? They're all professional footballers. They're all fantastic. If they have a great coach, they can all go on and show what they're made of. Everybody gets better under Unai Emery. Everybody. And those team goals are testament to how good he is. What's your favourite team goal that you've ever seen Villa score under Unai Emery? Let me know. I think mine is probably Arsenal when we beat them 1-0. John McGinn, Bitty, turn around. It was in the first 10 minutes, I think, right from back to front. Pau Torres passing it around, worked its way up the pitch, and John McGinn, Bitty, turns around, whips it in the top corner. Fantastic. It's just brilliant stuff. And John McGinn, give the statue to that man's booty. He was great again today as well. Blaise Shervington. Hi, Frankie. Good to see you, mate. I think it's the first time I've seen you, Mr. Shervington. Good to see you here. Duncan Kilburn, Palenu, and Kudus, only players that would be first choice and for the side. Yeah, Do you know what? After watching the Spurs today, I wouldn't disagree. Kudus is brilliant. Palinja's a really, really strong player. But to be fair as well, I mean, Onana and Kamara and Lamar Bogard. It's not like we need somebody of that ilk. Yeah, I'm quite surprised. Quite surprised by Spurs a little bit. Just looked a bit much of a muchness, didn't they? But a lot of that's testament to how Villa played as well. Blaise shows it. Good win. What crisis? Emery out. LOL. Absolutely. Get Emery out. Get him sacked. Someone's going to clip that clip up one day and say, "See what you were saying on here, mate? See what you were saying on the podcast, mate? You wanted to know that?" But no, I didn't. Never said that. Oh, you've clipped that up, haven't you? That's fake news, folk. I tell you, total fake news. Dunkelman, 5 wins in a row. Season finally got going. Absolutely. And when Villa get on a roll, as we showed from February last year, right to the end of that bloody Man United game, when Villa get on a roll, we're very, very hard to stop. Very hard to stop. There is a real sense of belief. And the fact we've got on that roll this early in the season and seem to have had our bad patch out the way gives me a lot of hope. Gives me a lot of hope. It does. Go ahead, Eagles this Thursday. You've got to say we're surely favourites to go and win that. Get another win there, make it 6. Then you go into City and Liverpool, and you really think, yeah, I mean, these games are going to be brutally hard, but dare to dream. Why not? James Wood thought Onana had a very good game. Yeah, I think my only thing with Onana, I would say, is that there were 1 or 2 times with his passing where he looked like he'd been somebody who not played for a month. He looked just a little bit slightly slower on the ball than a few others, but that is minor quibbling, very minor quibbling. I think generally he was very good. Yeah. And key, those long balls into the box. You know, a lot of people question that 50 million on Onana, right? And yeah, it's a lot of money. But I remember when I was at West Ham away, first game of the season last year, we won 2-1. Onana scores in the first minute. When I saw Onana in the box defending corners and set pieces, I looked at him and thought, I have not seen a player of that physical profile at Villa maybe ever. Tyrone Mings, yeah, okay. But big and tall and can win headers. Somebody who can do that from midfield, not just defence. It felt like Villa had a physicality about them added to them and an aerial ability to win aerial duels that I can't remember Villa having in a long time. And we desperately needed that because if you remember the season before, we were conceding far too many goals from set pieces. He's a big addition in that way. You cannot underestimate it. And the way he can win challenges late, he can just get his big, long, lanky legs in. You know, his 2 legs a lot. Have you ever seen the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur? A lot of that. Really huge things. With set bits, would be nice still to bring in an out winger for games like this. Yes, I think we look like we were, because Gesson looks like somebody who likes to drift in. And I think, I guess it helps an overlapping fullback, but it did look at times a little bit like he was not necessarily, like just sticking to the wing isn't his natural forte. We'll see how he develops. I think defensively he's doing very well. I think going forward there's been flashes of what he's about. I think he needs a goal and assist, and then he might just kick on. And once he gets a goal and assist, the next game he'll be doing things where he'll be like, bloody hell, he's really good. Counter-attacking style suffers minus true wingers. Yeah, although I mean, against Burnley when we did it, we were quite good when we had the 2 fullbacks bombing on. I think we could have scored another 1 or 2 today in the counter. Yeah, I think if there'd just been. I think missing Watkins was quite big in that first half. And I think you're right. I think having him... Think of Leon Bailey when in that one brilliant season he had. If we had him out on the wing, I think it'd be a big difference for us, yeah. Duncan Kilburn, looking at will not be kept. Appearances to be kept below 10 by Jan Paqueta Jan. I don't know what the restrictions are on his deal. I think if he doesn't play 10 games by January, can he go back to Liverpool? Is that the rule? I mean, I don't know. I know there is something about a certain number of games by the end of the season. But my theory on Elliott is that he's basically when Tielemans joined Villa, didn't really play a lot. A lot of questions like, "Oh, is Tielemans going to go? Is he fit? Can he get past Douglas Luiz?" Eventually, he does. Same with Elliott. He'll come in. He'll do really well, and we'll be looking good. Just have a quick sip of water. Sparkling water, very fancy today. I'm celebrating. It's like the 1970s. Don't you know, Abigail's party? I've got 17s and prawn cocktail crisps out there. Blaise Sherrington, 2 very good goals today. The Spurs lineup never perturbed me, to be honest. Going into the game, professional away performance. Yeah, same. Before the game, I had a good feeling. I don't know why. Don't know why particularly, but just thought Villa would do something today. Where are we? Richard Grosvenor wasn't impressed with Spurs. Yeah, no, same, mate. Rachel Insel Lewis. I think we need to leave the Elliott stuff until Jan, as you won't know what Unai wants till then. Yeah, he'll grow into it. He'll grow into it. He's a very, very talented player. He'll get into it. Conte was immense. He's really taken a big step up and looks a world-class CB in my eye. Yeah. I heard a debate on a wider football podcast about who England's two best centre-backs are. The three of them they brought up was John Stones, Mark Gahey, and Ezri Konsa. Says it all, doesn't it? He's in that conversation. He's in that. Tuchel loves him. And as soon as he got into the England team, played a load of roles, really versatile. Could never understand why he wasn't in there earlier. He's a brilliant player. He's a brilliant player, Konsa. He was great today. Dennis Farrell, don't want anyone slagging him with Deer off ever again. Yeah, notes to myself as well. James Wood, Konsa has upped his game, looking better every week. As you said, absolutely. Right, just go down a little bit. Flange, great to see you again, mate. Always love seeing you here. Great friend of the show. Currently sitting in 10th. We're riding high in the race for 10th place. Finally, we've got into the top half of the table. Dare to dream. These were dizzy heights for Villa for a long time. And for us, it's just like, yeah, we'll do better than this. It's a springboard to bigger and better things. Just sitting there in a good position, waiting to pounce is how I put it. Get through City and Liverpool. Maybe get a win against City if we can. We've done it twice in a row at home. Why not again? Get a draw away. Get something out of these games. And we are primed and ready to go. We really are. Rugby, good to see you, mate. First half was difficult. The goal brought us back. Halftime was good to fix a few things, particularly intensity. In the end, a very good win. We could have killed the game earlier, but good game. Absolutely, Rugby. I think that's a fair summary of the whole thing. Emery spoke in Rachel Insel says, Emery spoke in an interview about directness and stokeness is coming back. It's just a cyclical nature of football. I literally read that interview just before the game started. Do you know what I think is happening? I think it's a return to the 2005-2009 era of the Premier League, where, if you remember, Mourinho and Rafa Benitez won a lot of trophies during that time, playing quite direct, quite defensive football. I didn't enjoy it. I really didn't like their teams watching them. Hated it, to be honest. And when Pep Guardiola's Barcelona came along, thank God, because Barcelona were absolutely the best football team I've ever seen in my life and forced football teams to be more, I don't know, just less booting it along and panicking all the bloody time. Less about constant physicality and more about like technique and, showing what you're made of. And I think now it looks like it's slightly a hybrid of that, a hybrid of the 05-09 era with that football, that passing game still in it. But yeah, Unai's interview, very, very interesting. He talked about Newcastle going man for man. He talked about a few teams now going a bit more man for man and finding success doing it. Atalanta in Italy, and now Gasparini's Roma that he mentioned, and we might play Roma in the Europa League. That'd be an interesting game. Only 3 points off fourth, says Duncan Kilman. Absolutely, bring it on. Gerard Solon, good to see you, Gerard, again. Huge confidence boost and impressively composed performance all over the pitch. 2 super goals, gut punch for Spurs. Go ahead, bring on Sete. Bring him on, mate. Please like, please subscribe, please share. I know I have to ask for all this stuff. I just have to do it. We're closing in on 4,000 subscribers. So get clicking on that button. Come on, get liking, 5-star reviews, all that help. Ed Golden, come on the Villa. Love from Norway Lions. Love it, Scandinavia, mate. Haven't been to Norway. Really want to go. It seems to be a country that produces lots of great strikers right now. Lots of great players. Very exciting to be a Norwegian Villa fan. Norwegian national team look brilliant. And Aston Villa, superb. Great to see you, Ed. Call of the Wild away plan in level T, half-time. Let Unai do his magic. Absolutely. Let Unai work his magic. The Conte and Kamara are excellent. I agree. I thought they were all 10s. Oh, brilliant. Kept us in it when Spurs threatened. Yeah, dealt with it completely. Just a quick one here. Shane Arbeis. Hello, Frankie. I think Matty Cash was satisfied with helping with the goal. Yeah, man, you see him sprinting along to the other end of the pitch to celebrate with Dean and Buendia. It was an absolutely amazing pass. It was, and the touch from Dean. I mean, that was peak. That was Gerard Piqué ball forward to Lionel Bloody Messi. It was unbelievable. Peak Barcelona, that was. Paulo Fuller, UTV Philippines. Look at this. Norway, the Philippines. I made a Filipino dish last night. Filipino chicken ramo. Absolutely delicious. I cannot recommend it enough. Found the recipe on something called Recipe Tin Eats, an Australian lady. Trust me, if you've never tried it, make it. It is absolutely delicious. Filipino chicken ramo. And Paulo, thank you so much for the comment. Amazing. The Philippines. Unbelievable. James Wood, can't knock Emi, wants to play for the club, give us all. Absolutely. You know, he was asked to go and show why he should have stayed. And he showed what he's about. Right, now, 1956 Villain. Good to see you again, mate. Tottenham were quite poor, and even when they scored, that they were not dominating. It just needed us to step up again. And the points were there for the taking. Absolutely, I agree. It felt like when they scored, we had to just hold on. And we did. I thought we just within 10 minutes of that, it looked like Villa were just working their way into the game and slowly but surely getting a bit of a grip and waiting to strike. And Morgan Rogers, what a hit that was. Brilliant goal from him. And he needed that. Very similar to his Celtic goal, as I said earlier. Textra, yes, we are. I've never seen you before, Textra. Great to see you, mate. Yes, we are back. Rogers is back. Emi Buendia is back. We are on. How many flame emojis do we need? I tell you what, I would type in every flame emoji. I might get a flame emoji tattooed on my face after today, along with Unai Emery's face and Emi Buendia's face. Walk into work and they go, "What the hell have you done, mate?" And I'll be like, "Well, this is what I had to do. This is what I had to do." Walk into a job interview, go like, "Shut up. What's weird about this? Shut up. Right? It's what I got to get. I won't get the job, but I don't care." Richard Skinner, great show, Frankie. Love the poetic references. Villa are back. Absolutely. It was all a bit Philip Larkin at the start of this season. It was all a bit, you know, Arundel too. What shall survive of us is love. But then as it's gone on, it's got more Shakespeare. It's got more beat poetry. It's going good. Come on, Unai Versity, absolutely. Kevin Jeans, good to see you again, mate. You wanted Emery gone, John, but I'll forgive you. I don't know how anyone could question Unai. Frankie, a statement win today, says Tim Roberts. We have the genius who's Unai Emery. Never doubt him. In my lifetime, he's shoulder to shoulder with Sir Ron. Yep. I'd agree. He's the best manager I've ever seen. I started supporting Villa in 92. Best for me. Mark Huggins, top man. Great to see you. Hope to see you again this season. I'm going to be at the few of the Europa League games coming up, I'd imagine. A few league games as well. Got to meet up with you, Michael, in the Aston Social for sure. Let me know where you sit at Villa Park as well. I'd love to catch up with you there. I sit in the Trinity Road usually. And if anybody is at Aston Villa and comes across me, everybody, I get every game I go to now, people come up and chat, which is amazing because you see the numbers and you see a lot of the comments, but you don't really appreciate that people really are watching and engaging with us. So when people come up and chat, it's fantastic. You know, I just love it. Chatting away about Villa, and please, if you see me around Villa Park, do come and chat. I'd love to catch up with you all. Craig Miles, hi Frankie from the Netherlands up the mighty Villa. What do you know? To Netherlanden. My God, the Netherlands, Norway, Philippines, the US give us a lot of downloads. Australia, a lot of downloads. This is unbelievable. I've only been to the Netherlands once. I went to a place called Valkenburg to play in a football tournament when I was 11 years old. We won one of the tournaments, and then the second one, I think a few U teams of local professional teams might have turned up because they were very good. But yeah, what a country. Loved it. I want to go back. Desperate to go back. Amazing to see a Villa fan out in the Netherlands. And Erin Pimentel, good to see you as well, mate. Cash and Dean were great today, both crucial to the victory. Absolutely agree. Cannot underestimate how good those two were today. They were fantastic. Right, now, Liverpool Man City is on. So I think we should go and watch that, shouldn't we? Go and see. I've got a funny feeling Man United are going to do something today. Got a weird feeling. Liverpool have been there for the taking since about February last season. And this season to start, they've continued that. They're there for the taking. 2 weeks' time, can Aston Villa get something at Anfield? Would you bet against us? Because I wouldn't. Up the mighty Villa.